Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So we want to take a moment in this video to highlight the importance of the current price region on the Bitcoin chart. It is really important to understand the significance of the current price region, around 100K. I want to talk about a few indicators, the MACD, the stochastic RSI, the RSI, other indicators that we looked at, and want to point out why the current price region is so central, so important for Bitcoin. I also want to talk a little bit about why this cycle feels a bit different and why this is not a surprise. I would say let's start with the structure here and the indicators that we're looking at. So first of all, it's important to understand, and I know we get new viewers every single day, so I just want to repeat, it is entirely possible. The bull market has topped. We do have, from an Elliott wave point of view, a very full sequence, a very full sequence of 5 waves from the 2022 low. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. From an Elliott wave point of view, this could be a completed sequence, and the bear market might have started already. If it has, it's impossible to say at this point. And I'll tell you why. Now, in the 5th wave, we also have 5 waves. So it's really a very full wave count. And then in the 5th wave from the April low, we also have 5 waves. We can always make a case for another high. And I'm slightly leaning towards another high still. That is not a bold prediction, but I'm still leaning towards it. My view is we have a full wave count. Elliott wave has given us a really good roadmap for this cycle. Bitcoin has basically reached targets. It's come not quite to the 130K level, but it's plus minus. It doesn't mean that if 130K is the target, roughly the area that we have to get exactly to 130K, it's a full wave count. Now I have to say it's not really overly extended, so there is still a lot of room for higher prices. Also, pullbacks are still corrective in nature, which means they are 3-wave movements. This move to the downside is not even particularly sharp, so we don't even have a stronger correction than any of those that we've seen before in this cycle. These here were around 30 to 35% back in August last year. In April this year, the current one is around 22% from the high. And again, people are calling for the bear market to start or have started already. They're calling it. They've called it. How? I don't know. Now, something is different with this pullback because we now have a full wave count. Now, many people don't know that because many people don't use Elliott wave, right? It's still very much a niche analysis method. It's nailed this cycle better than any other method I know. Few things, it told us to be bullish down here. I think I was already bullish in June 22, which is fine. We got another low afterwards, that was FTX, but then it went up, right? Told us that, even though a lot of the fundamental analysts told us, or I don't know, most people, I would say, that I read posts from back in the day, end of 22, early 23, they still said to me that the prices can't go up because at the time interest rates were still going up. So the macro, people who follow macro narratives were still bearish, whereas the Elliott wave structure told us to be bullish. Elliott waves helped us to nail the start of the bear market in 2021 as well. While most people didn't get bearish until the price broke below 30K, which was quite late. It told us to remain bullish in August 24. It told us to remain bullish in April 25. A lot of people called for the bear market here. And it's always the same thing. I did read messages here about I'm selling it all, here as well, selling it all, here as well, selling it all, even though the percentage decline is less at the moment compared to how it was back then. We are still holding above the 55-week exponential moving average, which is the white line. We talked about that in detail over the last few weeks as a very strong support level. And so we're holding above all these support levels still. The pullback is not even strong. See, the only thing is that we now have a full wave count. But something is very important to understand. A wave count, when it's full, doesn't guarantee a reversal. It's just the area where we need to be watching for it. Yeah, the risk is high, so we have to be cautious, not bearish. I was very bullish throughout 2023, 2024, but since 25, I've become cautious, not bearish, cautious. Still wanted to see that one more high. It happened. I would still like to see another high on the nano level, just because, you know, many altcoins would look better with another high, and Bitcoin isn't giving me any confirmation that a top has formed. But I'd say I'm rather neutral up here, still slightly more bullish than bearish. Not bearish yet, okay, not overall bearish yet. In terms of structure, we've hit the 55-week EMA, strong support. I think that's clear. We talked about that in the last video in detail, and how the 55-week EMA is at the moment the most relevant moving average out there. You see, Bitcoin has been dancing on it for the last week. Exactly there. So that's clearly being respected by Bitcoin. Yeah, not the 50-week EMA or 50-week SMA. No, it's the 55. Okay. Now, that's one thing. Then 100K structural support, very important. Structural and psychological support. Yeah, it's this swing low here from June, and it's obviously psychological support. Red trend line, yeah, has acted as support before. Not super accurate, but it's providing support as well. Wow, what else? Let's look at some indicators. Stochastic RSI, I mentioned it a few days ago. We are oversold, guys, on the stochastic. Yeah, I've only marked a few examples here, but it was like 6-7 times where in this cycle, when the stochastic RSI was oversold, we saw Bitcoin turn around to the upside. Interesting as well, the weekly RSI. We are now back in the bearish range, yeah, below 50. We're now hovering around 45. And so I already read messages on X that, you know, people saying it's now bearish because it dropped below 50. But in fact, in April this year, in March this year, this was the same situation. The weekly RSI dropped below 50, and exactly in the current region, it found support. Yeah, September 24 as well, August 24. There were even some divergences, and also here in August 23. Now, most people would say it's bullish if the weekly RSI goes into the oversold territory, but in fact, when that happened in the past, that we were already in the bear market. Yeah, that's a bit late. I would say, I mean, this was historically as well an important support area for bull markets. Yeah. So you see, we had a pullback, for example, in 2021, and the weekly RSI landed in this range. And this is exactly in July 21, where the weekly RSI found support, pushed higher, drove the price to a new all-time high. Yeah. Just to then collapse and break below it, which was a bear market confirmation. It was later than what Elliott Wave told us already up here somewhere, but this year was support that got lost, and then we spent some time in the bear market. Yeah. So interesting, right? Interesting. The weekly RSI, the stochastic RSI, structural support, moving average support, trend line support, psychological support, 100K. However you want to look at it, this is an absolutely important price region in which we are right now. Absolutely important. I'm not saying that if we break below the current price region, we are definitely in a bear market. But I explained over the last few days again and again that the area around 100K and the 55-week EMA, which is a coincidence, right, that is currently there, is like a line in the sand. Now, it's not like if it goes to 99,500 that, you know, the bear market is there. It's not like that. I need to see a decisive break below that, and I told you that. So that's interesting. Yeah, at some point it will break, guys. At some point it will break. And so this is just an absolute key spot. Yeah, key spot. I have not confirmed a bear market yet, but this is exactly the spot that I'm watching. Yeah. Now, in addition to that, let's go to the daily chart briefly here, because the daily RSI is important as well. Now here on the daily RSI, we just need to draw the new trend line. What I wanted to show you on the daily RSI is this support line. Yeah, it's also important. Yeah, you see here, for the last few months, this trend line has been relevant on the daily RSI. We could not get to oversold territory, but it's not absolutely necessary. Don't need to be oversold, but definitely interesting. So we have found support at this trend line. So the market is in a region from where it can bounce. It just might need a catalyst. So I think the next few weeks are very important. If we talk about catalysts, I mean, what about government shutdown? Could the government shutdown, be ended? Yeah, the government open again? And could that be the catalyst to drive the price higher? Super interesting price region at the moment. Again, I'm still slightly leaning towards another high, and it should happen from the region. Now, what I'm not telling you, and we're looking at the chart here from the weekly, right? Weekly perspective. I'm not telling you that we have to have formed the low already. I mean, this is the weekly chart. Look, a break here below this trend line and then recovery is absolutely fine. A brief break below the 55-week EMA, absolutely fine if we then recover. So we can, of course, get that, liquidity grab, one more low to 96K, and then recover. This here is the weekly chart. People sometimes confuse this. I posted something like this here earlier today on X, just a small snippet of it. And people said like, whoa, so we can't get another low. Look, it's the weekly chart. If we get on a daily chart another low, it would not invalidate anything that I said here. So that hopefully gives you some important parameters. Yeah, well, it gives you these parameters for the coming weeks, and keeps you informed. Hope it added some value. So hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, then also make sure to follow our main channel, More Crypto Online, where you can get a lot of additional crypto updates. And also make sure to follow us on X here for additional updates, charts, news, and much more on the More Crypto Online channel. I'll leave a link in the comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.